All right, for today's beginner's class, we have a few things we're going to be going over. We're going to review some of your self-defense. We're going to go over some of your break falls. One thing I do want to tell you today is before we get started, you want to make sure you have something that's like sort of soft to use. You know, like either be on top of carpet or a rug or get like a yoga mat or something like that. Just take the edge off because we are going to do some break falls today. But let's get started with some warm-ups and we'll take it from there. All right, now that we're ready to start class, we're going to get going with our warm-up, right? Warm-up's super important to keep our body healthy, loosen up our muscles, loosen up our joints, get them ready to move without, injuring ourselves, right? So we're going to be doing 4 moves. Each one is 30 seconds, so pretty straightforward. We're going to start off with some jumping jacks. Ready, set, go. Right? So you do your jumping jacks, right? Make sure you're getting your hands up nice and high. Loosen up your shoulders, not just your feet. Elevate your heart rate a little bit. Get breathing, get moving. Right? Just keep going. Right? You go at your own speed. If you're ready to go faster, because you've already been active today, great. If you need to go a little bit slower, right? There's some modifications you can do for this. Right? Jumping jacks aren't the best for you, but that's okay. We're going to move on to the next thing. We're going to do some push-ups. Right? Now, a few different ways to do push-ups. Big thing on your push-up, make sure you get all the way down, chin or chest to the floor. Right, so we're gonna get started. Ready, set, and go. And as you do these, right, you may do it a couple different ways, right? I'm gonna cut in some video of other ways to do push-ups. The big goal as you do your push-ups, just make sure you get that full range of motion. So if you do maybe 5 to 10 of them with your legs straight, and then the rest with your legs bent, that's fine. The important thing is get that full range of motion and make sure you feel like it's a little bit of a challenge, but definitely something you can handle, right? And good, we're all done with push-ups. Ready to go for the next thing. We're gonna be doing some knees with our back leg. Let me show you 1 or 2. It's just like a front kick, only I don't extend. I come up with my knee, and I come back. Come up with my knee, and come back. All right, so it doesn't matter which leg you do. Make sure you're using your back leg though. Ready, set, and go. 30 seconds. It's helpful in martial arts to breathe out as you strike out. Helps you to generate more power. Also helps you to be more relaxed. Right? And because you're more relaxed, you're less likely to hurt yourself. Right? You get more repetitions in, so you're burning more calories, getting stronger. Really very valuable. So good. All right. Switch your legs. We're doing the exact same thing. We're kneeing with our back leg. Ready, set, and go. All right, now for some of these, I'm actually going to turn a little bit so you can see. All right, I'm not looking to be super aggressive. And because this is kind of warm up, I want to make sure that I have my base foot flat on the floor. I want to be stable, right? Especially if you're on a surface that you don't have 100% sure footing on, right? You don't want to go too high. You don't want to lean back. You don't want to challenge yourself. It's a warm-up. Good. All right, and that's 30 seconds of those knees. All right, so we're all done with warm-ups. Let's get into the main part of the class where we work on curriculum. So we're going to go over some break falls today, and we're going to be working on some of the details of our foot position and our head position that make a break fall go from being like pretty effective to very effective. Now, one of the key things we always talk about with break falls, the most important thing is don't let your head hit the floor, right? Now what we want to go over today are some of the details of making sure our head doesn't hit the floor. So we're going to start off with a side break fall, and what I want you to do is just watch the first time, right? So when I go into, let's say I'm in a side break fall position, right? And we're just worried about my head right now. A lot of people aim for this, where their head is off the floor, but not by much, right? Because this is kind of a neutral position. This is where your head kind of normally wants to be, as compared to here, where it's just kind of, you've let your head bang on the floor, or the desirable, your head is way off the floor as you do a break fall. Now, the trick to that is your head is way off the floor, but your shoulder stays down, right? So I can get my head way off the floor. All I have to do is lift my shoulder up, right? But you don't want to do that either. You have to find that fine line where your shoulder is down, but your head is up. That's kind of what you're struggling to make sure you have happen when you do your side break fall. Now, I'm going to tell you a couple of true stories today when we talk about break falls. And the one I want to start with is the first time that I did a break fall after I started martial arts, or the first time I tried a break fall, I should say, right? And I'm not talking about in class, I'm talking about like outside, right? So when I started martial arts, right, and still to this day I have a brother, and when we started martial arts together, before we started training, we fought a lot, right? He's 2 years older than me, and we used to argue and we used to wrestle and stuff like that, and not a good thing. And when we started martial arts, it really, we stopped doing that a little bit, but it took some time to go from like fighting all the time to not fighting at all. And I remember the first time that my brother and I were like on the front yard, we got into an argument, and he went to knock me down, he knocked me down, and I fell down, and I went to do my break fall. But instead of landing properly, I landed on my elbow, okay? Instead of on my shoulder, right? Which is what I'm gonna say, hey, you gotta make sure your shoulder touches. And when I did that, my shoulder slammed right into my face, and it really hurt, okay? And I was like, oh man, I've gotta make sure when I do a break fall that I get my shoulder down so my head doesn't suddenly slam into my shoulder, okay? And ever since then, when I've done break falls and I land the right way, it doesn't hurt nearly as much. But that's something that you want to be aware of, that if you land on your elbow, your shoulder slams into your face. You can also break a couple things, hurt your elbow, all sorts of bad things that you don't want to do when it comes to doing your break fall, right? And you can either learn the easy way, which is learning by me just telling you the story, or you can learn the hard way, where you're going to fall down at one point, you're going to land your elbow, and be like, wow, that feels terrible, I never want to do that again. So we're going to get practicing now. We're going to do some break falls together. I want you to start just lying down on your side. It really doesn't matter which side, because in a minute you're going to switch. And let your head rest on the floor, okay? And then from here, keep your shoulder down and just pick your head up. Right, so we're going to do 3 of those. Ready? Heads down, resting, very peaceful, and then up. Now, another thing you might notice is my hands are in front of me. I don't want your hands underneath of you. Right, so rest, 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 and head up. One more time. Rest, 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 head way up. And again, not a little bit up, as high as you can get it. Like you're trying to get your ear to touch this shoulder. Okay? Good. So now we're going to sit up. We're going to lie down the other side, right? And we're going to do the same idea. Heads down, hands are in front, and pick your head way up. Good. And rest it back down. And pick your head way up. And rest it back down. One more time, pick your head way up. Try and get that ear to touch your shoulder. Good. And good. Okay, sit on up. Now, one thing people say to me sometimes, they do this, they say, when I do it, my neck starts to burn. That's just you strengthening the muscles in your neck. You need to make those stronger, so when you do your break fall, you don't hurt yourself, okay? We're gonna do our back break fall. I'm gonna turn sideways for this one, but before I do that, I wanna help you understand where you're trying to get your chin and your body to be. And you probably just wanna watch this. What I wanna do is, I wanna get, if I'm sitting up tall, I wanna try and get my chin to touch as close to my belly button as possible. Now, you can't get your chin to touch your belly button. If you do, you need a doctor. Something has fallen off and you don't want that. But you want to get your chin to come way down like that, and you can see that from the side. I'm here, this is up tall. I bring my chin way down like that, okay? That's the kind of position you want to be in. So if I'm lying on the floor, and I'm resting, and my head is down, and all this stuff, it looks so peaceful. I bring my head way up, and I try and get my chin to touch by my belly button. Good, and rest. Right, so we're going to do 3 of those together. Right, so get yourself in position. Right, bring your chin way up and in. Good, and rest. And way up and in. And rest one more time. And way up and in. And some people tell me, Sensei, when I do this one, if I feel it in my muscles in my tummy too, right? Okay, good. It means you're getting stronger and you're working out the muscles you need to do to kind of bring your head up. Now, one thing you probably noticed, and I'm going to go over again just to be sure, when I do this, my shoulders stay on the floor. Now, one of the ways you can force yourself to do that is you put your hands up like this. And if you can hold your head up like this with your hands up as high as you can, well, your shoulders are going to be on the floor pretty well, okay? So let's try 2 more with your hands up. This is kind of a way of checking to make sure you're not cheating, right? So hands up, elbows up,
and then head up, hold it, 3, 2, 1, rest.
Good. It's kind of hard to talk when I'm doing it that way, but that's okay. Ready? And
Head up, chin close to your chest, not out on your chest.
you can feel it touching your own body. One more time, hands up, elbows up.
And come up, yeah. 3, 2, 1, and rest.
Okay, so on the 3 break falls we've just done, our back break fall and our 2 side break falls. We talked about the position that gets our head the furthest away from the floor while still keeping our shoulders on the floor. And that's going to be the safest way to do your break fall, and it's going to help you if you're falling really fast. Now, you probably are not falling really fast because we're sitting down on the ground, right? But if you were falling kind of far or hard, right, you want to kind of be as safe as you can, pull that head way, way away, and spread out the force across your body instead of onto your head, okay? Now we're going to do our front break fall. In our front break fall, we have the same goal of trying to get our head as far away from the ground as we can, but we're going to do that by turning our head, not pulling it backwards, okay? So I'll show you, we're going to practice this from our knees. I'm going to show you side leg, right? We're here, we fall down on our elbows, right? So our elbows are on the floor, not our shoulders this time. And if you see here, right, when my face faces down, my thumb can touch my head. But if I just turn, look at how much extra distance there is, right? It's like a whole other fist in there. That gives me an extra fist of safety, right? So again, this, my nose is pretty close to the floor. This, my head is farther away just by turning it, okay? So let's try that. Sit up tall, right? We're gonna fall down onto our arms. When we fall down onto our arms, we turn our head so our head is as far away from the floor as possible. Good. We're going to try that one more time. Ready? Fall down on your arms with your head turned. Hold it. 3, 2, 1. Okay. So those are the details of our head when we do our break falls, right? Let's do all of them really, really fast. Doesn't matter to me which side you do first, just as long as you do one side. So fall to a side, land on your shoulder with your head up. 3, 2, 1. We're going to do the other side. Same idea. Fall down on your shoulder. Head up. 3, 2, 1. Good. And sit up. I'm going to do a back break fall. I'm going to lie down on my back.
And again, head way up on my chest. 3, 2, 1.
Last break fall, we're going to do our front break fall. Start on your knees. Fall down on your arms. Head turned to the side. 3, 2, 1. Okay. So now we've gone through what our head does. Now we gotta go over what our feet does. What our feet do. What our feet does. That's funny. Anyway, so let's go over what we do with our feet. We're gonna start with a side break fall. And it's gonna be the same on both sides. We're still gonna have our head in the right place. So we're gonna lie down on your side, right? And if you want to do this one with me, go ahead, and if you want to just watch, that's fine. Your head is way up. You pick up your top leg and you bend it, okay? I do not want this to be super duper straight because it actually makes it harder to hold your leg up. If you sat here for like, I don't know, a few minutes with your leg up like this, be like, that's actually kind of hard, right? And if you bend your knee, like, oh, that's kind of easier, okay? It's easier to hold your leg up if it's bent than if it is straight. So keep it bent with your head way up. Okay? So we're going to try that. Let's do it 3 times on this side, right? So lie down on your shoulder, head is up, leg is bent, and knees are up and apart. 3, 2, 1. Sit back up. We're going to do it again. Lie down. Take your time. It's not about being fast right now. It's about the details. Head up, leg bent. 3, 2, 1. All right, let's go one more time. Ready? Lie down on your shoulder. Head way up. Leg is bent. Legs are apart. 3, 2, 1. And we're done. Okay. So that's how you do your side break fall. We just got to do the other side. All right, so I'm going to scoot so I'm still in camera. We lie down on our shoulder. Make sure your shoulder is down. Make sure your head is up. Leg is up. Bend your leg. 3, 2, 1. Good. And we sit back up. and we try it again. Ready? Lie down, make sure your shoulder is touching. Make sure your head is up as high as you can get it. Try and get your ear to touch your shoulder. Leg is bent and up in the air. Okay, and back up. Try and remember those details. Ready, set, go. Shoulder down, head up, leg up and bent. 3, 2, 1. Let's do one more. Ready? See if you can remember everything without me having to come up remind you. Ready? Go ahead. 3, 2, 1. Good. Okay. Now we got to do our back break fall. Back break fall is a little bit tricky. I'm going to explain this one to you once. You may want to watch it first. When I lie down on my back and my head is way up, I have to make sure that my legs are a little bit away from me, not coming up over. So you can see as soon as my feet come this way, my head hits the floor, right? Now, if I pull my chin in, maybe I have a little bit more safety and I won't hit my head down, but I don't want to have my legs rock this way because I immediately start to smack my head on the ground. What I need to do is push them out a little bit that way, okay? So when you do your break fall, your chin is up, your shoulders are down, and your feet are pushed away from you, okay? So let's try and do that. Ready? Head up, shoulders down, legs out. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Right? Now you may say, well, Sensei, now I really feel it in my stomach when I do it that way. It's hard to do it. Okay, then you're getting stronger. Ready? Shoulders down, head up, legs out. 3, 2, 1. Good. Let's do this one from sitting up. So come on up. Right? We're going to lie back down, keep our head up, keep our legs out. Ready? Go. Shoulders down, head up, leg out. 3, 2, 1. Good. One more time. And again, if you want to do the trick with your hands up so you don't let your arms cheat, you can do that. Ready? And lie down. 3, 2, 1. Good. All right, let's do it one more time. Ready? Set, go. 3, 2, 1. Okay. So that's our back break fall. Now we're just going to talk a little bit about what our legs do on a front break fall. On a front break fall, once we do the first part, where we have our elbows down, our head to the side, right? When I put my legs back, I have to keep my hips up, but not too up. So this is bad, right? This is kind of like holding a plank, but like, Sensei, holding a plank, that's good. It is good, but just not what we're doing, okay? You want to have your knees down. You want to turn your head to the side and then pick up your legs. Ready? Here. Pick up your legs, keep your hips kind of at the same height they were before, and also my feet are a little bit apart to give me stability. I'm going to scoot a little bit into frame so you can see me a little better. 3, 2, 1, rest. Let's go again. Ready? Set, front break fall. Arms down, head to the side, legs back, keep your hips up, your feet are apart. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, so hopefully as we've gone through some of these details on your break falls, you've picked up something that you didn't know. We're going to run through all of them one more time, just as a quick review, and then we're going to move on to the next part of class. So we're going to pick a side. I don't really care which one, as long as you do one of them. So go ahead, lie down on a side. Think about what you're doing. Shoulder, head, leg. Sit up. You got another side. Let's do the other one. Ready? Lie down. Shoulder, head, leg. Good. Now we're going to do our back break fall. Ready? Shoulders, head, legs. Good. And now our front break fall. We don't really worry about our shoulders as much, but our elbows we kind of worry about. Elbows are down, head to the side, legs up. And again, your hips are up a little bit. Okay. Very good. So those are our break falls and then the little details that will help to keep you safer when you practice them or when you really need them, when you fall outside, you get knocked down, a million other things that could make you do a break fall. All right, so great job. Let's move on to the next part of class. So this month we're talking about manners. And when we talk about manners, what we're really talking about is showing the people around us that they matter to us by being kind to them and being polite. Now, this week we're going to be talking about a couple of the simple words that we use to just tell people that we really care about, that we actually care about them. And those simple words, please and thank you, right? Now, my first question for you is, when was the last time that you said please, right? And if you have to think about it, that's okay. Take a second, pause the video, think like, oh, gee, when was the last time I said please, right? Now, there are a lot of times you might say please, like, hey, Mom, can I please have something to drink? Hey, Dad, can you please do this for me, right? Hey, brother, could you please let me watch TV, right? Now you might be like, oh, I don't say please to my brother or my sister. Well, you should. Everyone in your family, I want you to challenge yourself this month when we're still spending a lot of time together, we're in the same house too, take those moments to be polite, really be thinking about that. And then also the idea of thank you. When was the last time you said thank you, right? Again, if you need to pause the video and think about that, go ahead, right? But being thankful for things is super important for us being healthy, and also it showing that gratitude to someone else shows them that we care and appreciate what they've done for us, right? Which also makes it much more likely that they're going to do it for you again, right? So it could be something like active that they did for you, like, Mom, thanks for giving me cookies, right? Dad, thanks for making me a sundae, right? Or it could be something that they do kind of more routine, right? Like, Mom, thanks so much for taking care of me today, right? Dad, thanks so much for taking care of me today, whatever it is. Okay, so I want you to challenge yourself to think of what are some times you can remember to say please today over the next hour, and some things that you can remember to say thank you for that are going to happen today, right? Like, thanks so much for helping me watch class today, right? Thanks so much for cooking dinner, whatever it is. Okay, so think about a couple of those things. Before you go on with the rest of the video, pause this if you can. Think of 2 or 3 things that you're going to say please for, and 2 or 3 things that you're going to say thank you for, right? And then try and follow up on that. That's my challenge to you today with regards to showing respect and having good manners. All right, today we're going to do a little bit of self-defense review. We're going to be reviewing control number 1, control number 2. We're going to do it just a couple times really quick, and then we're going to get into the next part of the drill where we go into the details. But for now, just start off in your stay away stance. You have your feet apart, your hands up just like this, okay? You can see from the side, my hands are in front of me. My knees are a little bit bent. You probably can't see that particularly well, but that's okay. From here, we're going to dodge to the side. We're going to do a middle block, and then we're going to do a punch into the chamber. That's control number 1. Go ahead, dodge and block. Punch in chamber. Good. We'll try it again. Ready? Control 1, dodge and block. Punch in chamber. Good. Again. Ready? Dodge and block. Punch in chamber. Okay, so that's control number 1. Pretty simple technique. 1 block, 1 punch. Very easy. Let's go on to control number 2. For control number 2, we dodge and block with 2 hands. Grab, chop towards me. Grab with that hand as well and do a knee towards me. All right, let's try it again. Ready? Dodge and block. Grab with your left, chop with your right. Grab, so you have both hands grabbing. You can see I didn't cross my arms. And then take your right knee and do a knee, boom, to the tummy. All right, one more time for control number 2. Ready? Dodge, block, grab, chop, grab, and knee. Okay. So we get the basic idea of how to do control 1 and control 2. And if you need to take a second and review those or watch them, feel free to pause the video, rewind, and things like that. But now we're going to talk about 2 of the bigger problems that people have when they practice self-defense. 1, remembering. 2, reading. We're going to start with remembering. What we run into with a lot of students is they forget the name of the technique. They forget to kind of label it, right? And there's a simple trick that you can do for that, which is saying the name of the technique before and after you do the technique. Now, when you're at home, it's great because you can do this. No one's around necessarily to think you're crazy, right? Though I do encourage you to say it like in a normal voice. Don't shout it across the house, okay? And whispering it doesn't work as well. You want to say it loud enough that you can hear your own voice, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to start off here in our stay away stance. We're going to do control number 1. It's going to look like this. Control 1, control 1. and you come back, right? Now, when you do it that way, and you say the name on both sides of it, you're going to remember it much, much faster. That's control 1 as compared to this, which is control 2, right? Control 2. Okay, or control 5 or control 6 or other techniques that you've learned, and you just can't remember which one is which. And when someone comes to test you, says, hey, show me control number 2, you're like, I can't remember which one that is, Sensei. It's not that you don't know the technique, you just don't remember which one is which. Okay, this is a very simple technique for fixing that. So we're going to do it 3 times. Do it with me, say it with me. When you say it and you hear it, you're going to remember it so much faster, several times faster. Right? And you might say, well, Sensei, does that mean I get my stripes faster? Yeah, you get your stripes when you're ready, not when we feel like giving it to you. And if you remember it faster, you will get your stripes much, much faster. Because like I said, reading and remembering are 2 of the hard parts. We start from here. Control number 1. Control number 1. All right, we're going to do it again. Ready? Control number 1. Control number 1. One more time. Control number 1. Control number 1. Okay, so that's important to practice that, to remember it. If you're having a hard time remembering it, this is a good way to just practice any of our techniques. But now we're going to go into control number 2. Follow along, starting from here. Control number 2. Control number 2. Let's go back. Let's do it again. Ready? Control number 2. Control number 2. One more time. Ready? Control number 2. Control number 2. Okay, so now we're into the testing mode. For the testing mode, I'm going to say either control 1 or control 2. I want you to do the appropriate one. We're going to only go 4 turns for this, right? So here we go. Set yourself up over here. Show me control number 1. It should look like that. Okay. If you did it, good. If not, less good, but okay. Ready? Control number 1. Think about it. Do it. It should look like this. Good. Come on back. Ready? Control number 2. Think about it. Do it. Should look like this. Good. One more time. Ready? Control number 1. Should look like this. Okay. So hopefully you can remember which technique is which. And like I said, that's a big part of what we struggle with sometimes with beginners, in particular with white belts. Our yellow belts oftentimes struggle with this second part, reading. What does that mean? You know, when I was a kid, when I first learned how to read, and you're probably the same way when you first learned how to read, or when you get a really hard word that you haven't learned before, you got to sound it out, right? You're like looking at the book, you're like, all right, dog, right? And it takes you a long time to read what that says. Now maybe you're a pretty good reader, you'll see the dog, right? You don't have to think about it, just do it automatically. When we talk about reading which self-defense to do, you want to be able to see and instantly say, I should do control 1, I should do control 2, right? Because you can see it instantly coming, right? And it doesn't take you long to read what the attack is. So if you see my hand like this, and I'm about to punch at you, this is going to be a straight punch, right? Because my hand is close to my body. If you see this, that means I'm about to wild punch you. Now, control number 1 is for this. Control number 2 is for this, where my hand comes back, right? So what I want you to do is just watch and read which one you should do, and then do it, right? So I'll punch at you. I'm going to be a little bit angled. It's a little bit easier to read this way. But if you see my hand is close, boom, you've got to do control number 1. If you see my hand go back, boom, you've got to do control number 2. All right, so let's try it. Read and watch. Hopefully you can figure out which one to do. Ready, and go. Hopefully you just did control number 1. Hopefully you did control number 2. That would be control number 1 again. And that would be control number 2. Okay, so now we go into the more challenging version of this, just a little bit harder. Same thing, I'm gonna punch at you and I'm gonna count. As soon as my hand comes out, 3, 2, 1, you're done. Hopefully you did the correct technique, right? Here we go. Ready, set, hope you can read, go. 3, 2, 1, good. That should have been control number 1. 1 block, 1 dodge, 1 punch. 3, 2, 1, done. That should have been control number 2. Okay, we're going to try a couple more times with me. Ready? And control. Oh, I almost gave away the answer. I started thinking out loud. 3, 2, 1. Should have done control number 1 with 1 block, 1 punch. Last one. Ready? And go. 3, 2, 1. Should have done control number 2. Right? So hopefully that's pretty easy for you and you understand how to read which one is which. And as you practice it, you get better and better at it. If you have like a fellow student who trains with you, right, you can be like, hey, can you just practice this with me for a minute? And ask them to punch and see if you can read it. Obviously, make sure you're doing it safely at home. Don't try to break your brother, okay? Or you can even ask one of your parents, be like, hey, you know what? Could you practice with me? Can you either do this punch or this punch? And I want to see if I can read it in time. And just have them punch slowly at you, very gentle. Don't try and break your children, parents. It's rude. Don't do it. Okay, so that's a great little drill for working on reading and remembering control 1 and control 2. Let's keep moving on to the next part of class. Okay, for today's final game, you're going to need a crumpled up ball of paper, right? That's the perfect thing to use. You could also use like a paper cup, or you could even use something like a stuffed animal or a ball. What I will tell you is this is the perfect thing to be using, because if you hit it and it flies into something, it ain't gonna break anything, right? And you do want to make sure wherever you're punching towards, there isn't something that you're gonna break, right? So, you know, don't hit at something delicate made out of glass or ceramic. And if you're not sure, ask your family, like, hey, where can I punch at, right? Usually if you're punching something like a balled up piece of paper at couch, a regular wall, right, it's not gonna do anything, right? Frankly, you could punch it right at the window and it'll be fine, unless you have super, super weird windows, okay? Though make sure you don't punch the window, then that would be bad. And what we're gonna do is, we're gonna take this, we're gonna throw it up in the air. When it starts to come down, you're gonna try and hit it with a hook. Now, it's really important that you try and make your hand hit like this. Don't open your hand up and try and hit it this way. That's really easy. It makes the timing much easier. What we're working on is timing and accuracy, right? Which is something that's a little bit hard to practice when you're training by yourself at home. But by using this, you can work on that timing and accuracy in a very, very safe manner. So it's gonna look like this. You toss it up, hit it with a hook, punch it around the room. Now, other things that are going to help with this, and by the way, I brought a spare just so we can do this faster. It's going to really help you a lot if you make sure you keep your eye on the ball. If you throw it up and you start looking around, you're going to miss. It's like anything. If you're trying to catch something, it's much easier to do it with your eyes open, right? If you're playing catch in the backyard with your brother, your sister, whoever, and you put a blindfold on, catch becomes an extremely dangerous game, okay? You got to look at what you're doing, otherwise you're going to miss. So you want to punch, look at it, and boom, hit it with your hand. Now, the challenge that we're going to end with today is you're going to stand sort of close to a wall, right? You're going to toss it up, hit it, boom, go get it, and do it again, okay? And what your goal is, in 1 minute, to do as many as you can, all right? So set yourself up. We're going for a minute. On your mark, get set, go. Toss it up, hit it, and then go and get it again. Toss it up, hit it, and then go and get it again. Now, obviously, the faster you... Oh, I'm not going to count that one because I didn't really feel like I got a good hit on it, right? Boom. Oh, that one's pretty good. The faster you go, the better. If you want, you can switch arms in the middle, but you don't have to, right? Just keep going for 1 minute. Toss it up, hit it. You'll also notice I'm tossing it with one hand. Oh, that wasn't a good one. Punching it with the other. All right, keep going. We're going for a minute. We got about 20 seconds left. Toss it up, punch it, go get it. Pick it up, go again. Toss it, punch it, go get it. Keep going. How many have you gotten? I don't even know. I lost count. We got less than 10 seconds. Get it. Get it. All right, 3, 2, 1, time. All right. Hopefully you got a bunch. If you got a good number, make sure you tell me the next time you're in class, like, Sensei Jeff, I did that toss and punch for 1 minute. I got 11,004. No, you didn't, but that's okay. All right, everybody, great job. Thanks for coming. Looking forward to seeing you next time.